Hi all, Jeanette here. Welcome to the Neal's Homestead and welcome to my kitchen. I've been doing a little series of homemade old-fashioned candy making, and this is the third one of the series. I've made pineapple fudge, I made cream caramels, and now today I'm going to make toffee. It's highly addictive, almost drug-like candy that you can't hardly quit eating. It's so good. So let me show you what is going to be in it. Once again, this recipe comes out of the old Betty Crocker cookbook, my favorite. There are only 4 ingredients in this recipe today. The 2 first ingredients will be 1/2 cup of butter and 3/4 cup of brown sugar. And then we'll also not mix in, but use with it 1 cup of chopped pecans and 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. The first thing we'll do is just scatter the chopped pecans around in the bottom of the buttered pan. It's an 8x8 silicone pan. We'll scatter those around, and then we'll put our butter in the pan, as well as our 3/4 cup brown sugar. We'll get that on the stove to start heating. This recipe that we're going to do today is really quite simple. We don't need a candy thermometer on this one like we have on the other 2 candy recipes that we worked on. Today we're only going to cook it for a specific amount of time, which is 7 minutes. First we need to melt the butter and the brown sugar and bring it to a simmer. This is a recipe that you have to stir for the whole amount of time that you're cooking it. You can't walk away from it because it could stick to the bottom of the pan and it could scorch. As it starts to heat, the butter will melt, the sugar will dissolve. Just make sure you keep it moving around in the pan. And I also suggest that you use a heat-proof spatula that's made out of silicone. If you use a regular rubbery type spatula, I've had them melt before. It kind of ruins them to be in such high heat. As it starts to boil a little bit, I'll just set my timer for and stand here and stir it for that 7 minutes. As the time clicks by, you get a nice toffee aroma off of this. You can see how it foams up, and it's just cooking it so that it will be the perfect crispness to kind of break as you bite into it, but not be so hard that it's like a hard candy. It's kind of a crumbly toffee texture that is so wonderful. It's starting to darken in color. It's getting very close. When it's done, we'll take it over and pour it on top of the pecans. I didn't quite have enough to get around the edges of the pecans, so whenever you take the candy out, you'll just save those pecans for another project, another kind of candy. While it's hot, I'm going to put chocolate chips over the top of it. And then I'm going to take this stainless steel cake pan top and just cover that to hold the heat in, and after a few minutes I'll take that off and spread the chocolate chips out. The chocolate chips are melted now, so I'm just going to take this tiny little spatula and spread the chocolate around the surface of the hot toffee. I'm going to let this cool for a little while, and then I will show you how I break it up and what it looks like afterward. When the candy has been sufficiently cooled, you can just lift the sugar part up out of the pecans, and you can see that the pecans have stuck into the bottom surface of it, and all you do is break it off into pieces that are small enough that somebody can handle and eat. You don't want anything too big because you don't want to eat that much of it. So just carefully break it up. More careful than I'm being, obviously, because I'm kind of shattering it a little bit, but break it up in pieces like this and store it in an airtight container. And I don't think it'll last very long, because if you start eating it, you're gonna eat it up pretty fast. I think it would be safe to say that this toffee candy is a favorite of the whole family, and it'll be a favorite of your family too if you'll give it a try and offer it to your family for Christmas. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.